As she put the kids to bed, brushed her teeth, set up the camera, and turned off the lights, she felt her heart rate speed up. She couldn't believe she had slept through what had happened and that it was so close to her. What really went down that night? Melanie Darnell is a mother of 3, a fitness expert, and a vegan. She also has 1,000 people who follow her blog. She takes care of her kids, sticks to a strict schedule, works out, and eats well all at the same time. But in reality, not many people knew what was going on, and no one would have believed her even if they did. No one would have ever guessed that Melanie had terrible bouts of tiredness. 10 months ago, strange sounds started coming from her house, and that's when everything started. She thought it was just the wind blowing through the trees or the creaking of the old wooden house. But when it happened, she couldn't keep telling herself lies, no matter what the weather was like. Even worse, Melanie always woke up completely and totally exhausted, as if something had been keeping her from sleeping. Every day, the noises were getting louder and louder. It sounded like they were just outside her bedroom door. Her husband had to go out of town for work, so it was just her and the kids. Her husband told her to set up a camera that can see in the dark and check out what's going on. If you're not sleepwalking, then something very strange must be happening to you. His advice made her even more afraid. Melanie thought of all the scary movies she watched when she was younger. Would Freddy Krueger be visiting her in the night? Even though the thought made her feel sick, she still set up the camera. Melanie had been sleeping on the couch not long ago. She didn't like how dark her room was or how lonely it made her feel, but neither of those things helped. She was just as tired as when she slept in her room, but a vague memory came to mind that made her feel uneasy. Melanie said she almost thought it was a dream, but at one point she woke up because she felt someone breathe on her face. Then she fell back asleep. But that moment was important for what would happen next. She ran to the nearest store that sold electronics to buy a video camera. Before it got dark, she had to get it. She didn't want to wait another night to find out what was going on. She set up the camera in her bedroom, and as she put her kids to bed, her heart was racing. When she woke up the next morning, she didn't know what to expect. She had to go through one more terrible night of sleep before she could find out what was going on. She didn't know, though, how shocking the truth would be. The next morning, she got the video camera ready and made coffee with a lot of nerves. Now she was ready to find out what went on at night. She pressed play with a slightly shaky hand. She saw herself leaving her room to put her kids to bed as the video played, then quiet. Melanie watched herself as she shuffled quietly in bed until she fell asleep. At first, it seemed like everything was fine. She hit the fast-forward button and hoped very hard that she wasn't sleepwalking and that no one who shouldn't have been there showed up. But it did happen that way. Melanie jumped and stopped the video. She hit the rewind button and watched it again because she was so shocked. When she saw a small person open her door and climb up on her bed, her eyes popped. She didn't know anything at all as she watched herself sleep. Then, 2 more shadows came through the door and looked over her face from the corner of her eye. One was so close to her face that she dropped her jaw and wondered how she could have slept through all this. What went wrong? Melanie was sound asleep on the video, but her bed was slowly turning into a party. After putting her kids to bed a few times at 9 p.m., she went to the bathroom, and at 10 p.m., at 2 in the morning, they came back. Melanie was too tired to wake up because of all the noise, but she was still upset by it and tossed and turned as she slept. Then Melanie saw something that made sense of the quiet moments when her kids came into her room. Her dog followed. He jumped up on the bed and hovered over her as he licked and smelled her face. What was most interesting about this was how Melanie reacted. Even though she looked like she was sleeping and couldn't remember anything, she was acting like she was awake. She would hold her baby and move her hair out of the way when he pulled on it. She looked like she was both awake and asleep. It made everything clear. She was so shocked by the video that she stared at it on her platform. She said that being a parent doesn't end when the sun goes down. Let's think of all the other parents who are up with their babies at the same time, in the middle of the night, and take comfort in the idea that we're all cradling our babies in the dark, at the same time, sharing a common experience. Melanie wanted people to know that being a mother is hard and never ends. She also wanted people to see parts of being a mother that are rarely talked about. It's not easy, and moms get a lot of criticism, but no one knows what they go through every day. Melanie still wouldn't change it for anything.